What's up everyone, my name is Marie, welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video, I'm building a little family home in the world of Newcrest, and this is a base game only build. It's been a while since I've done any base game only builds, so yeah, I really felt like building something base game, and at first I wasn't really planning on making this a base game build, but then when I got started, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna make it base game. I just felt like doing that, and yeah, I felt like limiting myself a little bit, if that makes sense. So that's what I did, and this turned out to be a base game only build. And I really like it a lot. I'm not sure what I want to call it just yet. I was working with a reference picture for the facade of the house at first. I mean, it ends up looking nothing like that picture that I found, but I basically just found a cute little picture of a house that looked something like this, and it was called a something craftsman home. I don't exactly remember. I do remember that they called it a craftsman home, but I'm not sure if I think that this looks like a craftsman home. Like, let me know what you think. I am not the most educated on those on architecture, if that makes sense. I'm trying to explain myself the best I can, but yeah, I'm not that educated when it comes to architecture and things. I'm obviously very much interested in it, and I look up a lot of pictures, a lot of different styles on Pinterest all the time, so I kind of know my way around suburbans and craftsmans and that sort of thing. But this type of house, I wouldn't necessarily call this a craftsman. To me, craftsman houses look a little bit different than this, but let me know what you think. I feel like especially Americans would know a lot more about that type of thing. But yeah, let me know if you'd call this a craftsman or not. I don't think I will call it a craftsman, but yeah, I'm just not sure yet. But one thing that sold me on that facade was, as you can see, for the main part of the house, I'm using a hipped roof. And I don't necessarily do that a lot. I don't really ever use hipped roofs. I usually go for the gabled roofs, if that makes sense. But yeah, for this house, for the main part, I'm using a hipped roof. And I think that is a lot of fun because it's definitely not something I do very often, like I already explained. And so it gives the house a little bit of a different vibe than what I usually go for my builds. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with it, and it's very small, as you can see too. I think it's really cute. I basically just created a whole bunch of little bump outs, and I placed a little patio off to the side of the house as well, which ends up being linked to the parents' bedroom. The parents' bedroom has a little door that leads onto that small patio, and I just think that is such a cute little detail to have on the side of the house. I don't know, I really enjoyed it. And as you can see, I painted the house green, and I used a combination of green paneling and beige bricks, or light brown bricks. It's just a very neutral color scheme, but I always really enjoy that dark green paneling. I think it's such a pretty color, and I always want to use it way more often. But the annoying thing is that color only comes in the wallpaper with the columns painted on, the columns on the corners of the rooms, basically. And the annoying thing with that type of wallpaper is that it doesn't always work the way you want it to. For the facade of the house, it actually ended up working for me, so that was lucky. I honestly just got lucky there. So that's why I decided to use it. But yeah, you don't always get the columns where you want them. Sometimes you don't get any, which is also fine. Or sometimes you just get one column on one side of the house and then none on the other side, for example, and that is just so annoying. I don't know why we only got this one in the swatch with the columns, because the other colors, the other swatches, we get in both types of wallpaper, if that makes sense, the one with the columns and also the one without. But this one, I honestly think that they just forgot to include this one with the other type of wallpaper, which is such a shame because it's my favorite one. And we're a little bit limited with that one. So Yeah, that's a bit sad and also a bit annoying, but for this build I got lucky and I was actually able to use it, and I was able to hide like the missing columns on the other corners by just placing real columns over it basically, which you can't cover it up completely that way, but I don't know. It looked all right to me. Like, it was fine for me, so I just figured it would be fine. But yeah, the house is very small. It's only one story. It's a little bungalow, if you will, and it ends up having 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, which one of the bathrooms is an ensuite for the parents. The parents' bedroom it's really, really small, but the nice thing about it is that they have a little patio on the side, like to the side of the room, and they also have an ensuite. So that makes it a very nice bedroom, even though it is quite cramped in there. And then the kids actually have the bigger bedroom, but I turn it into a shared kids bedroom. So it's perfect for 2 children to share. I mean, honestly, you could even put another bed in there and have it be a shared bedroom for 3 kids. If you wanted to do that, you could do that. But there is also a study room, so you could turn the study into a 3rd bedroom if you needed it to. So you could use this house for a growing family if you wanted to. You could have a family with, I don't know, 3 kids if need be. So yeah, it works out for a lot of different household dynamics. I feel like it's a pretty usable little house, and I also kept it very neutral on the inside. The inside is a mixture of more traditional furniture and also more modern furniture. Obviously with a base game, we're a little bit more limited. So yeah, I don't know, it's just that very specific base game style that you get if you're building a house with only base game. I'm sure that you know what I mean if you're familiar with building homes with only base game compared to using more packs. So yeah, the kitchen is definitely a little bit more on the traditional side, but then for example, the living room is more modern. I used more modern couches in there and a more modern console table and things like that. And so yeah, it's a little bit of a mixture, but I feel like that also makes it very realistic. Unless you like renovate your house literally all at once, then you will have everything very much in one style. But I just figured that the people, like the family that's living here, they got new furniture and stuff for the living area, but they didn't necessarily renovate the kitchen. So the kitchen is a little bit more older looking in comparison, like compared to the living area, for example. And I feel like that's quite realistic. Unless, like I said, you save up a whole bunch of money and renovate your whole house all at once, or you don't renovate it at all. But yeah, I feel like having a bit of a mixture of styles is definitely very realistic. And then for the floor plan for this house, I was struggling a little bit because I was planning on making it a very open floor plan with a kitchen and a living area all in one room, but I couldn't really figure it out. Like, I was placing the kitchen over here and that worked perfectly fine, but then honestly, I could not figure out a nice way to place or to lay out the living room. I was just struggling a bit with it. I couldn't find a good wall to place the TV that would also make sense for placing the couches in a good way, if that makes sense. So it was a little bit of a struggle. So I figured I would close off the kitchen, and I did that right here, as you can see. So I closed off the kitchen, which makes the kitchen very, very small, but I think it's cute. Like, it still definitely works. And I even had the space for a very small little breakfast table. So I just placed a 2-seater table in there. If you, I don't know, want to have breakfast quickly and you just want to sit there, or I don't know, if you want to maybe hang out in the kitchen when the other person is cooking or what have you, or you want to maybe help cook and you can just sit there and cut up some food, or I don't really know what you want to do, but I just really enjoyed the fact that I had space for a small breakfast table. So I just placed it in there. And you can see that the kitchen is more on the traditional side, I would say, when you look at the counters and the overhead cabinets. I did end up placing a more updated stove and refrigerator, and I also put a dishwasher in there, which is something I usually tend to forget. So yeah, I was quite proud of myself for actually placing a dishwasher. For a family home, dishwashers really, really come in handy, especially when you have like a family of 4 or more Sims. Then you might really want to add a dishwasher to your kitchen. So I just decided to go ahead and do that, and I really like how the kitchen ended up looking, even though it's very small. But you can see that we have moved on to the living area. I just placed 2 of these 3-seater couches, so that's quite nice. This house, it feels and it looks kind of small, but at the same time, there is a bit of space. Like, it's not that small. I don't know if you get what I mean, but I just thought that that was very, I don't know, it was just a nice little detail to work with for this house. Like, I thought it was gonna be very small, but then when it came to furnishing, I was like, I actually have way more space than I thought I would end up having. That was just a really nice. And as you can see, I was still struggling with the layout for the living area a little bit, and I was also struggling with the color scheme. Because with base game, like I said, we're a little bit more limited. I am very spoiled in the sense that I do have all the packs installed. I bought them myself, obviously, so I still paid for all of them, but still, I feel very lucky to have all the packs. And yeah, usually I would have way more, like, just a lot more choices, way more options, way more colors, way more color schemes to go for. With base game, obviously, we're a bit more limited. However, as of lately, we have been getting so many very, very good additions to the base game. For example, that console table that I'm using, that little end table, is something we got with an update, which is created by a CC creator, and the same goes for the chairs that I used in the dining area. So yeah, those items are just so pretty, they're so good, and they work so well with basically every single style. So yeah, they're so versatile, and I really enjoyed using them here, and it definitely makes creating base game houses a lot more fun for me as well, because those items are so useful and so good looking. The only thing I feel like base game lacks a bit, I mean, there is definitely some things that the base game lacks, but one thing I feel like the base game lacks is good rugs. I always really struggle finding good rugs for base game only houses. I feel like the rugs in this game, in the base game, just look a little bit outdated, and the texture on them is not that great compared to more recent rugs that we got with packs, for example, which makes sense because the base game is quite old by now. So it definitely makes sense, but yeah, it is a bit of a shame. But I just decided to go for this darker green rug in the living area. I actually really do like that specific color. I think that is my favorite rug. Well, not my favorite rug, but definitely my favorite color of the rugs in the base game. So yeah, I just decided to use it in here, and then I used a round rug under the dining table. It works nicely because the dining table is round as well. So that worked out perfectly fine, but you can definitely tell that I went for very neutral colors and also more darker colors. The color scheme throughout this whole house is fairly dark and also very cool toned. So that's definitely a theme that I went for, and I don't know, I really like how it ended up looking. And here, as you can see, I just placed an archway that leads into the study area. I decided to not close it off all the way because I still wanted this floor plan to feel somewhat open. The same goes for the kitchen. I didn't place a door, I placed an archway leading into the kitchen. In real life, that would not be the most efficient thing when it comes to, for example, warming up your house when you're using the heater and things like that. Like, you would definitely want to have doors instead of hallways, or I mean archways. But in The Sims, it just creates a little bit of openness, if that makes sense. Like, if you can't go for a completely open floor plan, I always suggest using archways if you want it to feel more open, because yeah, it just really opens up the room a little bit more. So that's a little bit of a tip for creating more open or airy houses, I guess. By the way, let me know if there is anything you would want to see a tutorial on, because I have been planning on filming a couple of tutorials to upload to my channel. I know there are pretty much already tutorials for basically anything when it comes to building in The Sims 4. A lot of very talented creators already uploaded literally just tutorials for everything. But still, I feel like I want to make some tutorials as well, because I think it would be really fun, and some people have actually suggested tutorials, and I thought that that was a really fun idea, so I might as well just go ahead and do that. But if there's anything specific for building that you would like to see a tutorial on, or just want to hear my thoughts on how I do certain things, because obviously when it comes to building and furnishing, there are so many different ways that you can do things, and I don't know, so many things that builders prefer over other things, and then something else goes for different builders, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making any sense today. It's fine though, but yeah. Basically, let me know if there is anything that you would be interested in seeing a tutorial on, because I'm very interested to know. I do have a few ideas myself already, and like I said, also a couple of suggestions. So I definitely have at least 2 videos or like themes for videos planned that I want to film. I just haven't had the time to sit down and actually do that, because life is a little bit crazy right now. I'm also working on theater things, like I already said before, but if you're new to my channel, then you might not know this. I am I graduated theater school, musical theater school, about a year ago now, or actually exactly a year ago, I think. And yeah, then the pandemic hit, so yeah, there is definitely no work for me as a singer and an actress at all, but I'm still working on theater projects. So yeah, we have this very exciting project coming up, and we're actually playing tomorrow, which today is Thursday. Yeah, we're actually playing our first show. Like we wrote it ourselves. We wrote the music and everything for it ourselves, which is a lot of fun. So we're very, very excited to actually be playing for an audience as well, all safe, all tested, all vaccinated, of course. So don't worry about that. But yeah, I'm very excited about that, and we have that coming up tomorrow, which by the time this video is up, that will have already happened. But yeah, as of right now, I'm just a little bit busy, so I'm definitely recording as much as I can, but no tutorials right now. But I'm thinking that I might be doing some tutorial videos in like a couple of weeks or so. So definitely let me know if there is anything you would like to see a tutorial on. I think actually that I might wait for, what's it called? Cottage Living to come out, because it's finally coming out next week. And then I want to spend every single free minute that I have on building with Cottage Living first. So I definitely want to do that first. And then after that, I think I might record some tutorials. So yeah, if you have any suggestions, please let me know. But you can see that I totally talked over the parents' ensuite, and then there's also a whole bathroom in the house as well. And then this is the children's bedroom, and this is definitely my favorite room of the house, mainly because it's so colorful. I really enjoyed playing around with the colors in here, and I just really enjoy that floral accent wall as well. Just the kids' bedroom is very spacious. It has a lot of toys and it's very colorful, and I placed a bunk bed in there, and I don't know, I really enjoyed that. It's definitely my favorite room of the house. But then after that, we're moving on to the backyard. And I really like the backyard as well. I ended up placing a pool in here, which I was not planning on doing, because I wanted this family home to be a little bit more modest and not that luxurious, just a more regular family home. And I feel like regular family homes don't have pools, at least not where I'm from. It's definitely not something that I'm used to. Then again, I live in the Netherlands and basically no one has a pool here, so it definitely also is different from country to country, I guess. But yeah, normal family homes, I don't know, pools wouldn't really go in a backyard for a normal family home. But I had the space for it here, and I was like, you know what, this house is already going to be expensive, because I used base game only. And base game only houses tend to be a lot more expensive than pack builds, basically, because the furniture in base game just is a lot more expensive. I mean, obviously it has very cheap options, but it also has very expensive options, and the more expensive options look better. So this house ended up being very expensive. So I thought I might as well just place a pool in the backyard. It's fine, it's all good. You're probably gonna have to cheat to buy this house anyway. I mean, not if your Sims are already rich, then you're good to go. But yeah, you might already have to cheat to be able to afford this house. So I figured, you know what, I'm placing a pool. I don't really care. So I just went ahead and did that. It's a modest one though. It's not that big, but it's still a pool and it's really nice and luxurious. And yeah, I just placed the monkey jungle bars for the kids to play with, and a nice dining table and a little bench. I also gave them a grill, obviously, and an outdoor bin because you need that for gameplay. And then that is actually already it. So let's hop on into the game and I'll show you the house in real time. So here we have the house in the game. I think it looks really cute. It's not that big. It's quite a small little house, but I think it looks very inviting. I like that it has a whole lot of tiles in front of the house and not that much grass. For some reason, that looks quite realistic to me. And as you can see off to the side of the house, we have this extra little porch that leads into the parents' bedroom. So they have their own entryway basically. And then this pathway also leads into the backyard. I will show you the backyard first. It's nothing special except for the fact that it has a pool, like I already explained. It's just a very basic backyard with a couple of activities. I placed the grill in there and a pool and obviously some places for your Sims to hang out, and then the jungle bars for the kids to play with. And then in the front of the house it also has this little bench and these chairs so you can hang out here as well. And then when we walk into the house we have this very small little entryway. It just has a coat rack over here and then one on the wall as well. And then it has one door that leads into the whole bathroom, which is mainly for the kids and for the guests to use. It's nothing special. It is quite a nice and spacious bathroom for me at least, because I usually go for as small as possible. But yeah, this one is quite nice and spacious. And then on the other side of the hallway we have a door that leads into the kids' bedroom. So this bedroom is pretty big, but I did that on purpose because I wanted the kids to have a lot of space to just sit down and play. They have a dollhouse and a blarfy and also a crafts table over there, and then also a toy box, of course, which is over here. For the main part of the house we have an open dining and living area situation. Like I said, it's pretty dark and cool toned in here, but I do like it. I did place a couple of accent walls like this one right here, this gray one, and then I repeated the brick that I use on the outside of the house on the inside as well for a nice little detail. And then yeah, I don't know, I really like this living area. These couches look quite modern, as well as this console table, and then I combined it with this dark green rug and I just think it looks nice. I was struggling a bit with what I wanted to place on this wall by the TV, but I just went for a couple of repeated art pieces. It was the best option in my opinion, so I kept it like this. And then we have the round dining table over here. I went for a round one because this space is a little bit awkward and a little bit small. You still want there to be enough space to just walk around and enter this bedroom and enter the kitchen and stuff like that. Like, you don't want any routing issues. So that's why I went with this round dining table. Over here we have an archway that leads into the kitchen, which is quite small and a little bit awkward, but I really like it. It looks quite realistic to me. It's small but not too small, and it has a nice breakfast table as well. So there is an extra table in the house, which is always nice. And then over here through this archway we have the study slash skill building area. You can see that I placed a desk with a computer and a bookcase as well. I also placed a bookcase over here, by the way, and then I also placed an easel and some decorations next to it so your Sims can work on their painting skill. And then over here we have the parents' bedroom. This one is quite small and cramped, however it works. I playtested the bed and your Sims can access the bed from this side as well, so there is no issues there. I gave them a nice wardrobe here. You can see that I was really trying to go for that modular wardrobe situation, but obviously I was working with only the base game, so I just kind of tried to create it myself by merging together two of these dressers, and then I just placed a couple of these hanging clothes above it. And then the parents also have an ensuite. So this bathroom is a lot smaller than the whole bath, but it's still nice. It makes sense for an ensuite to be a bit smaller in my opinion. So no tub in here, just a shower. And then the parents also have access to this little patio area with a nice little bench, so they can just sit here, enjoy the sun, drink their morning coffee or what have you. But yeah, that's actually it for this build. So this base game family home is up on the gallery. It actually says that I placed something from Get Together in here, and now I want to know what it is. Oh no, I used this little wall decoration piece from Get Together. That's an oopsie because I did build this game with all the packs installed, so I made a tiny little mistake. I'm so sorry, but it's just a small little wall decoration that you won't even and miss if you place it in your game. So that's that. I'm sorry, that was my bad. I mean, I could always upload it again, but I feel like it's just such a small little item that it doesn't really matter. But it was a mistake. I'm sorry. It happens though. But yeah, this build comes in at 85,241 simoleons, so it's quite expensive for what it is. You can just cheat if you want to use this house, or maybe just save up for it. That could also be a fun challenge. But that is actually it for this video. So I really hope that you enjoyed this build. You can go ahead and download it off the gallery like I just showed you. My username on the gallery is Simmarysims. You can also follow me on Twitter and on Instagram if you'd like. My username on there is Simmarysims as well. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so. And if you want to be notified of every single time I upload a video, just click that little bell icon and you should be fine. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next build. Bye!